What's up, people? It's your man Joshua Pondexter. This is broadcasting live on LinkedIn and where else am I at? YouTube, right? Hey, listen, this is our Lunch and Learn series, right? Wednesday at noon Central Standard Time. So, hey, it's going to be your whole lunch hour. Got a great topic, the retirement minefield. Um, Planning for retirement and then living in your retirement takes skill, right? Um, you could plan a pot of cash for retirement, and then one medical issue could wipe you out, right? So let's look at some of the retirement. Uh, let's look at the retirement minefield, right? So it's pretty lengthy presentation, so we're not gonna hold you up. We're gonna get straight into it. All right. Let's see. Okay. So, the retirement minefield. An overview of the most common retirement mistakes and how to avoid them. I am Joshua Pondexter, your presenter. You can reach me at my email, joshuapondexter@gmail.com. There's a phone number, or you can go to my website, joshuapondexter.com, right? So let's get right into this thing. Wow. Retirement. I don't know if you know, retirement has not always been a concept in America. That's probably something that's 50 years old, right? Because people used to just say, no, they knew they was going to work until they died, right? If they were still healthy enough, right? So between 1982 and 2009, the number of defined benefit plans decreased by 73%. Wow. From 174,998 plans to 47,137. Defined benefit. That's a pension. Ain't nobody getting no pension these days, right? Pensions are history. So what we're left with by 2009, 93% of employers sponsored retirement plans were defined contribution plan. That's your 401k, your 403b, your thrift savings, right? That's what you're left with. 46% of plan participants expect their defined contribution plan to be their most important source of retirement income. So if this will be your most important source of retirement income, you need to know how to invest in that puppy, right? Yeah, you just can't go and just choose funds willy-nilly. You better learn how that 401k work, and you need to learn if you're gonna put your money there and see if that's going to be to place that you're going to put your retirement eggs at, right? Social Security is projected to pay full benefits until 2033. That's not long away. When it comes to retirement, it's up to you. So 2023 full benefits. What happened to that? The benefits theoretically begin to get cut. I don't know if you know, but what the government does when they run short of money, they borrow money, right? So that might be what they do with Social Security. Managing risk, things we can't control. Inflation erodes the value of saving and purchasing power. We just experienced a 10% inflation, right? They was calling it inflation. I was calling it corporate greed, right? Market volatility, unpredictable returns, right? So there's a lot of market volatility, and so there are people who benefit from market volatility. Maybe you should learn how to do that yourself. Longevity, outliving your assets, right? People are living longer, right? So 80, 90 years of living, that's longevity, right? And most people are going to live. Catastrophic events, a significant impact to your income or saving. What's a catastrophic, major medical issue? A loss of a job, loss of a spouse. These are catastrophic events, right? These are things that are out of our control. Legislative changes, Social Security, Medicare, taxes, right? These are things that are out of our control, right? What they do, but we can control how we respond, right? Avoiding mistakes, things we can't control. Emotional errors, making investment decisions based upon emotion. I like Disney. I like chocolate, so I'm going to invest in chocolate. Just no. Get some knowledge. Failure to plan properly, relying on rules of thumbs, right? No, planning is a science. It consists of logically thinking and functioning from that aspect. The IRS taxes and penalty unnecessary erodes the value of a retirement savings. So this is the end of your retirement. You have heard it. Maybe you have did it. You got ready to retire. You had $300,000 in your retirement account. You want all your money, and you're not 59 and a half, right? So you got to pay taxes and penalties, right? Bad mood, right? Broken windows, rollover horror stories. By making trustee to trustees transfer, one can avoid triggering the 60-day requirement. So what is the 60-day requirement? So if you take all your money, you got 60 days to put that back into another qualified plan, right? Survivors, big mistakes. Widows and widowers often lose money needlessly. The IRA rollover penalty, right? You got to learn how to stretch those taxes and dollars, right? Distribution nightmare. Make this mistake with an IRA and there's no second chances, right? You got to watch how you take that money with an IRA, right? So distributions, your windows is 59 and a half to 72 till they start forcing you to start taking money out of there, right? So you need, if you have decided that I'm going to put my money in a 401k, I'm going to roll it over to an IRA, you need to understand the rules, right? IRA rules get trickier. Uncle Sam was cracking down on common retirement account errors because Uncle Sam is greedy. We got a greedy uncle. More than 100 pages. It's updated annually. Individual retirement arrangements, publication 590. Go get your one and read it. Yeah, you read it. This is where you have trapped your money. This is where you have put your money. And why don't you take some time to read 100 pages about what's so important to you? Talks about transfer, beneficiary, penalties, conversions, age 59 and a half rule, 10% additional tax, 60-day period of rollover, partial rollover, early distribution, an inherited IRA. Those are rules to these things. Age 70 and a half rule, which bumped to 72, right? 20% withholding, spousal IRAs, required beginning dates, right? 20% withholding. That means that you take your money, your employer is required to take 20% holding, right? So that whole publication 590, go grab your one. You don't even have to go to the IRS office. You can download it from the IRS.gov. Rollover, pros, cons, and what's right for you. Withdrawing income, understanding the taxes, penalties, and deadlines when you withdraw income. Beneficiary planning, important considerations for you and the beneficiary. So you need to make sure you got a beneficiary, because if you don't have a beneficiary, a company might go ahead and keep those dollars. The transfer of retirement assets from one retirement plan to another retirement plan. To transfer money from an employer-sponsored retirement plan, your 401k plan or life, to an IRA, you must be eligible to withdraw assets from the employer-sponsored sponsored plan. Triggered events. You left the company, you got fired, you're no longer with the company. That's your triggered event, because as long as you're with that company, they're not going to let you take their money. So, is it your money or is it their money? All right. They may let you take a loan. You can roll over or transfer assets to your own IRA to another IRA anytime without requiring a trigger event. So if you have your own individual retirement account, you can go from one sweet spot to the next one. All right. Triggering events for employer-sponsored plan is what the trigger. Separation of service. You no longer work for the employer. You may not have to wait. 72% of employer-sponsored plans allow you to roll over your 401k asset while you are still employed, right? So, that number's kind of high. Request your employer's summary plan distribution for additional information, right? So there's you need to have that plan description, right? So if you have a pension, you need to have the description of your pension plan. You have a 401k plan, you need to have that, right? So you can read it. Obtain of the age 59 and a half may be required for in-service rollover, right? So if you work for the post office and they say, well, you're 59 and a half, we can let you roll over a percentage to your own IRA, things of that nature, right? Normally it is 59 and a half before you can make some disability. You may qualify to roll over to your IRA if you're disabled, right? Death, this applies to your beneficiaries. Okay. Why an IRA rollover might be right for you. You have more than one retirement account. Consolidation of accounts can be easier than managing multiple accounts and to reduce your fees, right? Your plans have limited investment option, right? You can expand your investment option to include alternative investments or annuities, right? Your plan does not offer a retirement income program. IRAs can provide guaranteed lifetime income, bond laddering and bucketing options. So all these little fancy options that's out here in the free enterprise are traditionally not available to you in your 401k, right? So your plan has limited beneficiary planning options, right? IRAs can offer customized, pre-selected, or stretched beneficiary options, right? So you want to stretch those taxes, right? You may need or want to access your retirement account prior to 59 and a half. IRAs offer additional exception to the 10% additional federal tax for health insurance premium if unemployed, qualified higher education expenses, first-time home buyers, right? So they have, when you have an IRA, you have additional exception, right? In the 401k plan, right? Unemployment, wait a minute, but require 10% you can get for educational expenses or buying first-time home buyers or for health issues, right? Got some medical expenses. Those are normally those tight requirements if you're trying to get some money out of 401k. Will you need a loan? Your employer-sponsored retirement plan may have a loan feature. Loans are not permitted from IRAs, right? You got to take that money. Did you separate from service at or after age 55? This is an exception to the 10% additional federal tax for distribution from a qualified plan for employees who separate from service during or after the year in which they attained age 55. So that exceptional of 55 and a half, of 55 rather, you can start taking some qualified T distributions, and you got to take them for 5 years, right? So you might not need that money for that long. So that exception may not too much work for you. Do you plan on working past age 70? You better. If you continue to work past age 70 and a half, you might be eligible to defer your required minimum distribution on qualified assets attributed to your current employer plan, not your individual retirement account. So, but if you're working for an employer, you might be able to. So you're there at 70, 73, 74, 75, you're still working. You might not want to get your required minimum distribution out of your retirement accounts. It could be an exception there. Where the plan assets award via a divorce, right? Okay. They're an exception to the 10% additional federal tax for an ex-spouse who received qualified plan access as an alternative payee under a qualified domestic relation or quadro, right? Means you gave away half of your pension. You gave away half of your 401k in a divorce, right? And the spouse might be able to bypass that exception of 10%, right? Federal tax, right? All right. Common mistakes. I'm going to do this quickly because I've got a lot of information to share. Common mistakes people make. They overlook personal circumstances before rolling money over to an IRA, right? Look at your personal circumstances. Do you need the money? They elect an indirect rollover instead of direct rollover. Indirect, you got 60 days to get that whole 100,000 back over to the new account. And then, we said something about 20% withholding. So what if your employer withholds 20% to send back to send to the IRS? Now you only got 80. You got a problem. You got to make up that 20. These are mistakes. They pay the 10% additional federal tax on pre 59.5 withdrawal. So when somebody client come to me and they're not 59.5 and they like, I need some money and I can't, I can get it easily from my 401k, but I'm saying that money is too expensive because 10% penalty and then income taxes, right? Ordinary income tax, say 33%. Man, 10%. That's 43% tax on that money. That's too. You need to go borrow some money, right? They fail to manage required distribution at age 7. We're talking about the common mistakes people make in their retirement, right? So at age, and this number may change. So at age 72, you got to start taking that money out of that account, right? Because Uncle Sam wants some of his taxes back. They overlook death benefit distribution options, right? So, how when you die, how you going to distribute that money, right? They don't seek professional guidance. Common mistakes people make in their retirement when they're rolling their money over. These are some of the common mistakes. Not seeking professional guidance. I am here, Joshua Pondexter. .com. Schedule yourself a consultation for your retirement by all means, right? Mistake number 1, overlooking personal circumstances before rolling money over to the IRA. Indirect rollover, the distribution is made payable to you in cash. You have 60 days to contribute the proceeds to another retirement plan or an IRA, right? Direct rollover. So a lot of people are like, well, okay, yeah, I'm going to a new employer. I'm going to just put it in my new 401k. That's another bad mistake too, right? Because you don't want to go lock your money up with those limited options that's in a 401k plan, right? Where you can find better options to grow your money out here in the free market. Direct rollover transfer. The distribution is made directly to the new retirement plan or IRA. Employer-sponsored retirement plan are required to offer this option. Right? Yeah. So, and a direct rollover. So I would suggest that you get your own individual retirement arrangement account. Right. Okay. Let's look at this. So, 100,000. So this told you I'm ahead of the game. 80,000 cash, 20,000 withholding, right, to the IRS, right? 60 days time limit. You got 80 grand. Where you gonna get that other 20 grand from? 80 grand rollover, 20 tax distribution. Step 3, IRA. You got 80. You got to come up with the 20, right, to make that 100 whole. Bad idea. Or Uncle Sam going to turn that $20,000 into ordinary income, right? All right. And so now you owe taxes on that 20 grand. All right. So, boom. You got it. Uncle Sam want that 100. See? All right. The IRS. And you might be lucky enough to get a tax refund. Who's lucky enough to do that? Unless they got Joshua Pondexter at their financial advisors, joshuapondexter.com. We have got this money back from Uncle Sam for our clients. Direct rollover. Do it right. 401k to our 100,000. Bam. No withholding. Cutting Uncle Sam out. So once you get into your own individual retirement account, and if you need 20, grab your 20 from your own account, right? No 60 days time limit. It's direct. No 20% makeup. It's direct. Got the whole 100,000, right? No waiting on a tax return if you get one. Because Uncle Sam, once they get that money, it's kind of hard to get it back from them. Trust me, right? All right, elect and indirect rollover instead of direct rollover. Important difference. Ensure you do it right. Indirect rollover. Deadline, 60 days time limit. So that's we're looking at the difference. Direct, no 60 days time limit. Qualified plan to our 20% mandatory withholding. Government send it over there. Additional withheld must be added to avoid taxable distribution, and a penalty of 10% additional tax, right? No withholding, fewer tax concern when you do it directly, hour to hour. Only one tax-free rollover during 1 year period is permitted, applicable to both IRAs, right? No once per year limit, right? So here in the indirect, you capped on the time. Say, for instance, you roll over until an hour and 6 months later, you find a better deal, roll it over again, direct rollover to that new account, right? The time and the withdrawal from IRA is important, right? Withdrawal prior to 59 and a half might be subject to additional 10% tax. Failure to take the minimum amount after 70 and a half might result in 50% tax. A lot of people don't know these rules, right? About these IRAs. Most people familiar with the 59 and a half. I got to stay in here, but they don't know if after it's not 70 and a half anymore, bumped it up to 72. If I don't take my required minimum distribution, I can get taxed on 50% of what I should have withdrawn, right? So it's important that you understand the timing of withdrawals from IRAs and 401ks and the like. All right. No restriction here, 59 and a half to 70. Pull as much as you want. Required minimum distribution begin at age 72, right? Because Sam want to get their tax dollars, right? Paying a 10% additional federal tax pre 59 and a half. Oh, this is a mistake number 3, right? General exception to the 10% additional federal tax penalty for withdrawal prior to 59 and a half, death, disability, medical expenses, and that can't be any greater than 7.5% of your adjustable gross income, or what we call here Schedule T distributions, substantially equal periodic payments. This is prior to 59 and a half, right? Okay. IRS is subject to the 10% additional federal tax penalty, higher educational expenses, first-time home buyer, health insurance premium if unemployed. Okay. Qualified plan exception to the 10% additional federal tax penalty. Divorce, that's a quadro. Separation from service at or after age 55. All right. At 55 or after 55, you can get that substantially equal periodic payments. Attainment of 59 and a half, exception to the 10% additional, so everybody know you got to wait till you 59 and a half if you got some retirement dollars in the 401k and IRA. Your money is locked up, right? Exception to the 10% additional federal tax. The one exception that is available to anyone at any age. The amount that can be withdrawn is limited and must be determined by using 3 IRS approved calculation methods. Payment must continue for at least 5 years, right? Substantial payment. And the employee must have attained 59 and a half when the payments cease. If later, right? So if you take this payments, right, these consecutive payments, and you 57, you still got to continue for 5 years, right? Failure to abide by the rules can result in retroactive taxes, entries, and penalties. Got to be a rule. Got to follow the rule, people. Require minimal distribution timeline. A lot of people go like, "What is that?" Yeah, it's time to start taking that money out so Uncle Sam can get his taxes, right? We're still using the old 70 and a half. It's been bumped up, but the year you turn 70 and a half is the first distribution year for our required minimum distribution. So 72, you got to start taking that money. Required distribution for the first distribution year can be taken that year, right? 4/1 of the year following the first distribution is required beginning date, right? So the next year you turn 70 and a half, and the next year 4/1 you have to get that money out of there, right? Or you're gonna pay a 50% penalty. The RMDs for the first distribution year can be deferred into 4/1 of the following year, right? So you can actually get 2 distributions in 1 year. You defer them. An RMD for the next distribution year and each year thereafter must be taken by 12/31 of that year, right? Boom. If the first required minimum distribution is deferred into the following year, April 1st, 2 RMDs must be taken in that tax year. So there we go, right? You got to know these rules. A 50% tax applied to the amount that you should have withdrawn, right? So if you don't do your required minimum distribution, they can hit you with a 50% tax. Automated, right? So normally when I used to work in this space, rolling over retirement accounts, we would automate it for our client, ensure you won't miss a payment. The percentage that needs to be withdrawn increase every year, right? Trying to get that money out of there so they can get them taxes. Plan for your RMD. If you don't need it, how will you reinvest it? Buy life insurance with it. Gift it to a loved one or a trust, right? Donate to a charity. Understand how it fits into your retirement income and estate plan, right? Because a lot of times, yeah, I have had people, they got pensions, Social Security, they have savings, they have investments. They don't need this money. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reinvest it, right? Or give it to a charity, because this is only requiring more taxes, creating more taxes for beneficiary planning. So do I want to give my IRAs to them in a lump sum or all out in 5 years, right? Or do I want to do a annuitization, maintain or roll over to your own IRA to spouses only, so and stretch it, right? So now I got, this is a mistake because now I have an IRA that I'm leaving to a beneficiary, right? Spouse, child. What are they going to take a lump sum? Taxes. Or are they going to do it all out in 5 years? Or are they going to do annuitization, meaning that they can take a monthly income, or they maintain or roll over to their own IRA, spouses only, and stretch it, right? So it means that the tax implication can be stretched, right? Inherited IRA, lump sum, 25% tax bracket, right? $25,000 to the IRS. Oh, this money get going quick, right? Inherited IRA, all out in 5 years, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 25% tax bracket. So the IRS is grabbing their five up front, right? So tax strategies can help you here to reduce this. JoshuaPondexter.com, because Uncle Sam is looking at this. Oh, this is a 25% tax bracket, right? You see how much money they want from you out of these retirement accounts that someone leaves you one? Stretch. Allow beneficiaries to maintain tax deferral of inherited IRAs and control the taxation of distribution to the extent permitted by the law, right? So you can roll it over into an inherited IRA, right? To take advantage of this option, you must be elected by 12/31 of the year following the death of the original IRA owner. Rules. Inherited IRA, 100,000, right? Non-spouse beneficiary, age 54, IRS table, single, divisor 3.5. Boom. There we go. Then times 25% tax bracket. It's 820. Uncle Sam won't, right? Stretching this hour. Divisor reduced by 1 each year, right? Can always take a lump sum. Allow beneficiary to maintain tax deferral of inherited IRA and control the taxation of distribution to the extent permitted by law. So look, you that first year, you got 5 years and taking that money out. Then the 6th year, you got to go ahead and take all the money. But you can see that, Uncle Sam's not getting a whole bunch of money those first 5 years, right? Spouse beneficiary can elect to roll inherited IRA into their own IRA, can elect to treat it as an inherited IRA. Non-spouse beneficiary cannot elect to roll inherited IRA asset into their own IRA, can elect to treat it as an inherited IRA, right? So if you're a non-spouse, options are limited on bypassing taxes, right? Work with a professional and avoid mistakes. What are your personal circumstances? What are your specific needs? What are your concerns? Recommended next step. Obtain a copy of your employer's summary plan description. Complete an IRA rollover questionnaire. Gather your beneficiary information. Schedule an appointment so we can start planning today. All right. Thank you. We went through this really fast. There's a lot of information to share. Let's unpack that for you. Okay. Hey, here I am. So let's unpack that for you. That was a lot. It was quick. So here's the deal. You're putting your money in a 401k. It's a trap, right? Because you're trapping in taxes for Uncle Sam. And if you mess around and don't get that money handled correctly, you're going to pay more taxes than necessary. I've seen so many people leave their employer and roll that money over to themselves, right? The employee, they're like, wow, the employer took 20%. Yeah, they held it, right? Instead of rolling it over, direct rollover to an individual retirement account. And then if you needed some money, grab some out of that, right? So at least Uncle Sam is not going to get that big chunk. And then you can decide to pay taxes on that later, right? So this is very critical. Most of us are working with 401ks, 403bs, thrift savings. There's rules to it, and they're pretty complicated, right? Especially when you take it yourself, and then when you transfer to a beneficiary. That beneficiary spouse, the rules are a little liberal. If it's a non-spouse, the rules get a little more complicated because Uncle Sam wants that tax out of their retirement. So this is the retirement minefield. You didn't work all your life, save all your money in the 401k, and now you got to take it, right? So how am I going to take it? How am I going to distribute it to myself so I don't expose myself to unnecessary penalties and taxes, right? So this is what this conversation was about. You can holler at your boy, JoshuaPondexter.com. Hit that retirement planning bullet, schedule that appointment, and let's talk about it. I'm telling you, we can help you avoid tens of thousands of dollars in mistakes, right? It costs big time because you can't go undo it once you make these decisions up front, right? Okay. Well, listen, people, as always, we appreciate you tuning in. Retirement is a big deal if we get there, 60, 70 years old. You done build up a pot of money. You don't want Uncle Sam to take it in taxes and penalties, right? Okay. But if you don't operate by the rules, he gladly will. And there's no do-overs. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we wish you peace, love, and soul. Bye for now.